It's Friday just before lunchtime, and we're getting ready to go with the PLM guys to a local farm of someone who owns a farm and a church locally, and it's going to be a church fellowship, so there'll be several pastors in the church and the guys from the program all getting together to eat some great Brazilian food. So looking forward to that. I had a great time of study this morning, had an opportunity to prayer walk the neighborhood here and just get to see the culture a little bit. And just was really blessed. I had a couple people share with me on this trip how they've either watched a sermon online or shared it with a family member or read is reading a pile of masks. And so just it's a blessing when you get to meet people who God's using the ministry to touch their lives. You have never even knew on the other side of the world that people were connected with the ministry and that the Lord was using it to touch them and to disciple them. And so it's just very humbling, but also a blessing to be able to see spiritual fruit here in the country and get to meet some people who I had never got a chance to meet before.
Somebody's here tonight that came and you're wondering, can God change my situation?
Alguém que está aqui e se pergunta se Deus de fato pode mudar a sua situação.
Can God restore our marriage?
Será que Deus pode restaurar o meu casamento?
Can God fix a broken situation?
Será que Deus pode consertar uma situação problemática?
And I am a living testimony that He can do all those things.
E eu de fato estou aqui como um testemunho vivo de que Ele pode fazer todas essas coisas.
So I want to open up with prayer.
Então eu gostaria de fazer uma abertura em oração.
It's Saturday morning, and had a great time of ministry yesterday evening. We left in the afternoon from the place where Pure Life is, Brasilia, over and headed to a city called Goiana. I got a chance to meet the director of Pure Life. His name is Paulo, and we rode over with him and Victor, our translator. And on the way over, we just had an awesome time of fellowship. He shared his story of what God had done in his life and his marriage, and I shared mine as well. And we were just so overwhelmed with joy and gratitude for what the Lord's done for us. It was just a really beautiful time of seeing how God can restore broken things, and so it was a great time. We on the way over, we stopped at a gas station, and it was really interesting. We had a family who overheard us talking, and their kids, they had a son probably around 10 years old, a daughter probably around 5 or 6, and they had never been able to meet an American. And so when they heard me speaking, they came over and they asked, "Are you missionaries?" And we're really excited because they're Christians, and they were excited to have me there in the country. They asked me to pray with them, and so I prayed for their family, blessed them there in the gas station, and just an awesome time being able to connect with the body of Christ in this country. We made it to a church last night, a large Assembly of God church here in the area. It's really a beautiful building, a really great place and great people. I had a chance to meet the pastor, and during the worship, they just had a great heart for God. They really sought after Him. It was an evening conference. They've been doing conferences this week, and had me in to share. One thing during the service I thought was really unique and powerful was they had a time of confession where everyone got on their hands and knees during worship and had just a time of seeking after the Lord and His face. And then I shared my testimony. I just really felt like someone needed hope there, and so I shared just my story of what God had done in my life, and just a short message out of Proverbs 7 about avoiding sin and keeping our hearts clean from the love of the world. Afterwards, I had a time of response. Several people raised their hands. They said they needed prayer in their lives for something, and we had a couple guys come forward and just need prayer. One young man was really broken, and just God was really dealing with people last night, and so we had an opportunity to pray and connect with them, and so it was a blessed time of ministry. Today we're just getting some rest, and we're going to be traveling back. It's about 2.5 hours back to Brasilia, and so we'll take that travel and then prepare there at Pure Life for tomorrow's services, tomorrow morning and tomorrow night. And God's been faithful, as He always is, and really grateful for just the opportunity to be here on this trip.